Online outrage cost Mozilla CEO Brendan Eich his job after his stance on traditional marriage became public.
But by forcing him out, did Mozilla go against its own stated corporate policy of, quote, inclusiveness?
And back again to comment is former Arkansas governor and the host of Huckabee, Governor Mike Huckabee. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I saw Tammy Bruce earlier this morning, and I was so grateful for her comments. And she had tweeted out that as a person who is gay, she was utterly outraged and offended that there is now this bullying going on toward people who happen to hold a different point of view. You know, there are many of us who believe in, natural, traditional, biblical roles of marriage. We're not angry at anybody. We're not homophobic. We don't hate anybody. It's not about that. It's just a different point of view.
So what's going on here?
Well, intolerance. It's intolerance in the name of tolerance. And the most outrageous statement of all was the statement of Mitchell Baker, the CEO chairwoman of Mozilla, who made this ridiculous statement basically saying, well, we want a culture where freedom of speech is protected, and we want to make sure that everybody's views are included.
Well, actually, we have it here. Yeah, I'm going to read it to you because it's so Orwellian, it bears repeating.
My gosh, yeah.
Quote, Mozilla believes both in equality and freedom of speech. Equality is necessary for meaningful speech, and you need free speech to fight for equality. Figuring out how to stand for both at the same time can be hard. Organizational culture reflects diversity and inclusiveness. We welcome contributions from everyone. Mozilla supports equality for all.
That is a lie. They're not for equality. They're not for inclusiveness. They're for equality unless you are a Christian. They are for inclusiveness unless you're a person of faith who believes that it's not your right to make edits to the Scripture.
Right.
I find it very interesting. And here's a question I wish somebody in the media would ask Barack Obama. Mr. President, in 2008, you said, not once but repeatedly, that you were not for same-sex marriage and that the reason you weren't was because you were a Christian who believed in the biblical definition of marriage.
Right.
Now you say it's fine. So there's one of three options. One, the Bible was rewritten sometime between 2008 and now, and would you please tell us when that happened and how you got the word? Number two, you were lying then. Number three, you're lying now. Those are your three options. Which one, Mr. President, is it? I just wish somebody would ask him that question. By the way, I just asked him.
Well, Ed Henry didn't ask you quite in your terms, but he asked of the Deputy Press Secretary.
Give him a little tip here.
He asked it in an Ed Henry
kind of way. A little more diplomatic, maybe.
Much more diplomatic.
Yeah.
But here's the response. Take a watch.
The President himself, in 2008, when this person donated $1,000 to that cause, also was against same-sex marriage. Does the White House think that there should at least be tolerance on the issue, even though the President has evolved on this issue and now supports same-sex marriage, that there should be tolerance on the issue and that there should be other views heard?
Yeah. Well, I certainly understand why an issue like this has been in the news and why a lot of people are talking about it, but I'm not going to be in a position to weigh in on the decisions made by a private company.
So
private company.
He won't endorse tolerance.
Well, here's what I find interesting. The president weighs in on everything from Trayvon Martin, a local court case that's many, many miles away from the White House and has nothing to do with federal jurisdiction. This is a president who weighs in on everything from what kids eat at school. But he won't weigh in on something that is a major national discussion that he himself helped to create by changing his position.
What if this happened to a Democrat, or what if this happened to a liberal? Would it be leading the nightly newscasts?
Of course it would. And if a person were to say we're not going to serve people who are gay at our restaurant, well, there would be national outrage. You know what there should be, because there shouldn't be discrimination against people because they're gay. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Those of us who don't necessarily subscribe to the idea of same-sex marriage would be aghast at the thought that someone would be denied employment, entrance to any type of event, or some type of other form of discrimination based on his or her gayness. That's repulsive to me as an American. But we don't change the institutions that have long-standing tradition. That's a different issue altogether.
What do you think it says about our society, the fear from a private company where they feel like they have to oust their CEO because of something that happened years ago and didn't even give him a platform to say, yes, I still believe this, no, I don't, and that's not even what really matters at this moment anyway?
Well, the worst thing is that he did this as a private citizen. He did not do it with company money. He did not do it in the name of the company. And what are we saying here if we say that a person, on one hand, your private life is your private life. Not if you happen to believe a biblical worldview of marriage, it isn't. And that's what I find really disturbing. It's an intolerant, bigoted, Christophobic approach to freedom in this country. And I think it's just amazing that it's happened.
Governor Mike Huckabee joining us this morning.
Great to see you.
Tune into his show, 8 p.m. here on the Fox News Channel tonight. Thanks, Governor.
You bet.
We will be watching, as always. Well, let's